Minecraft has received a lot of updates in the 15 years since it released. Well, in the 15 years it's been around. It hasn't been out 15 years because it came out in 2011. Um, so not quite 15 years, but I thought it would be fun today to, before Tricky Trials comes out in a few weeks, to go back and review some of the older updates, like from the past 8 years or so. So I'm going to pull up the website really fast and we'll get to our ranking. So I got the website pulled up here, and we're basically going to be covering the updates from the past 8 years or so. And so the categories are phenomenal, awesome, decent, okay, and meh. And the first update to come out in this 8 year period was the 1.9 combat update. For me, this update really didn't add much. All it did was really change the combat system by adding a cooldown to your sword, so you couldn't like spam your sword as fast as you could click your mouse. It added the outer end islands, it added shulkers, it added the elytra, it added the end cities, it added shulker boxes. No, that came later because the shulker shells weren't a drop yet. It basically added all the stuff I just said except for the shulker droppings, the shells. So for me it really didn't add much because at the time I didn't play as much survival as I did creative. I was mainly a creative builder, and I also didn't play on PC then. So for me it didn't add much. Nowadays I mainly play on a computer as I'm making this video, and I mainly play half survival, half creative. For me it didn't add much, so it's going in the meh category. The next update after that was 1.10, or the Frostburn update. Same thing as the previous one, didn't add much. All it added was polar bears, igloos, a stray, which is the snow biome version of a skeleton. It added a husk, which is a desert version of zombie that doesn't burn in the day. And other than that, it didn't add much. It added polar bears, which was pretty cool, but nothing more than that. After that, we got the 1.11 exploration update, and I must say, this update was pretty good. I'm putting it in decent because it added the Woodland Mansion. It added the Illagers, the Evoker, the Vindicator, the Vex, which is basically like a ghost. It added the Totem of Undying. It added exploration adventure maps. We got a new structure. And at the time, the Woodland Mansion was like one of the biggest structures in the game, which was pretty cool. Since then, they've stepped their game up even further with the updates. For me, though, it really also, it was nice to get kind of an evil version of a villager, kind of room for some storyline, lore, drama, something like that. Maybe the evokers were once part of the village and then they rebelled and then went and built their mansion in the woods and then they made the Vex, something like that. And it was a decent update. After that was 1.12. It's going in okay. It was okay. It mainly just revamped the colors of all the blocks in Minecraft. Well, mainly it added concrete, which was pretty cool. It added a bunch of new colors for the woods. Not wood. It revamped all the rainbow colors. It made them more vibrant, hence the name World of Color. Other than that, it didn't add much. It added parrots. It added the ability for parrots to dance to music. Other than all that, it didn't add much. Although the next update after that, the update Aquatic, phenomenal. One of the best updates they've ever made. It revamped the ocean. It added dolphins. It added drowned, which is basically an underwater version of a zombie. It added a shipwreck. It added an ocean ruin. It added buried treasure. It added a new weapon. It added turtles. It added coral. It added kelp. It added seagrass. It added sea pickles. It added a Turtle Master helmet. We got a new potion. We got 3 new enchantments for the trident. It added a new swimming animation. It was probably one of the biggest updates we've ever gotten. Since then, they've probably made bigger ones. But hands down, it was one of my favorite updates of all time. And obviously, we all have different opinions. So what I like update-wise, you might disagree with, and that's totally fine. What you like, I might not like so much. Once again, that's totally fine. And like I said, this update is probably one of the better ones they've made. For me, phenomenal. The next update after that was Village and Pillage, and this kind of was also phenomenal, kind of adding on to the lore, the drama, the storyline from the Illagers, adding in 1.11 exploration update. That was like the first half in the exploration update 1.11. Then we got the second half of the Illagers in 1.14 Village and Pillage. In excuse me. In Village and Pillage, we got the Pillagers. We got the crossbow, which was the second update in a row where we got a new weapon. It added the Ravager. It added the Pillagers. It added a crossbow, a new banner type, a new banner or bad omen effect, a new raid feature. Other than that, and also a new structure, the Pillager Outpost. But the main thing is they revamped the villages. They completely redid the structures, all the villagers' houses. They redid the trades. They actually added villager jobs. Like, they can't just make something out of thin air anymore. They actually have to go to their block and craft it and make it. So they actually have a job now, and they're not just, once again, making it out of thin air. And they reskinned all the villagers, gave them a new texture depending on their job and biome. They added a new village type for each of the biomes, except for jungle, swamp, and they only didn't add jungle and swamp villages, which they should have. That is one of the downsides with this update, but they did add a swamp villager type and jungle villager type. Other than that, those two biomes didn't get villages, as in the structure. They just got the villager skin type. And they added a bell that lets the villagers know a raid is coming. And with the bad omen effect, how it works now but won't work in 1.21 Tricky Trials is that right now, it basically, you kill a pillager captain, you get the banner, it gives you the bad omen effect, you go into a village, starts the raid. I like how it is now, where it's like trial and error. Like, if you accidentally go into a village, it'll start the raid, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it just started a raid. But now, in Tricky Trials, in a few weeks, they changed it to where if you get an ominous bottle from the vault, if you drink it, you get the bad omen. Which means that to start a raid, you have to kill a pillager captain, get the bad omen potion, drink it, and then go start a raid. Which means that you can completely avoid the raid just by, like, throwing the potion away or not drinking it. Which I do like how it is now, how it's not so avoidable. Like, I liked the random aspect from Village and Pillage, but I mean, it's whatever in Tricky Trials. I mean, they're changing it, and we can't control what the developers change. But I like how they implemented it in Village and Pillage, not so much how they're changing it in Tricky Trials. But other than that, solid update, 10 out of 10. The next update after that was Buzzy Bees. Once again, it's going in the okay category. It was small. All they added was bee stuff. They added honeycomb. They added honey blocks that are basically like slime blocks, but they don't stick to each other. They added honey bottle. They added honeycomb as in the item. They added the ability to make bee farms. And other than that, didn't add much. The next update after that, the Nether update, also phenomenal. They completely revamped the Nether. They added like 5 new biomes, 2 new wood types, 1 new structure. Actually, 2 structures, because the Bastion and the Ruin Portal. They added like 2 new mobs. They added bartering, which was basically you could able to trade with the piglins in the Nether. You could trade with them. They added hoglins, so you had a food source like pork chops. So it's basically the Nether version of a pig. They literally made it to where you could live in the Nether. Almost. But other than that, you can live in the Nether, which was so cool. And they added, I think, Crying Obsidian came in this update. I don't know when it came out. And then they added a bunch of new blocks. This update probably added the most blocks we've ever gotten. For that, 10 out of 10. The next update after that was um, Caves and Cliffs, which really also changed the game. It totally revamped caves. It was like so big. It totally revamped the underground. It added a new world height limit going from 256 to 320. It added a bunch of new blocks and new mobs, and it was just overall a solid update. And then the update after that, the wild update, also phenomenal. It was kind of, I didn't like it at first because I felt like when they added the warden, he wasn't very Minecrafty. Like it didn't feel like it would fit in. But now I'm obsessed with the warden. The warden is like one of the best mobs they've ever added, although he is a little bit terrifying. Other than that, best update. The ancient city is one of my favorite structures. The whole darkness effect from the warden having to be quiet and sneaky and place wool and crouch and make sure not to make too much noise, and vibrations and wireless redstone. That was a game changer when it first came out, just like all the previous phenomenal updates that we've listed. And then we have the most recent update, Trails and Tales. This was also phenomenal in the way that it added camels. So like a desert village could now have a camel. It added trail ruins. It added excuse me. It added camels in desert villages. It added pottery shards. It added armor trims, which was so cool. That in itself was a game changer. The armor trims was like an absolute game changer because it actually made you be able to customize your armor, and like you could engrave stuff into it. Like you could take diamond armor and engrave emerald into it, which would probably be the closest thing we would get to emerald armor. So 1.20 hands down. You can see that the three, like part of the three most recent updates were all these updates were phenomenal. And that is it for our tier list. And we'll have to come back and add tricky trials into it after we've played the update a little. So let me know if you want to see that video. And it's kind of, I mean, this is the tier list. Let me know in the comments what your guys' tier list is. And it's, I don't know. It's fun to rank updates. Out of all these updates, I think they went really well together. Like, I enjoyed ranking them. Some were a little bit better than others. You guys will have to let me know in the comments what your favorite updates are. I'll link the website down below, along with my Twitch, because when Tricky Trials comes out, we're going to be going live over on Twitch to, like, mess around with the update, test it out, do some trial chambers, maybe build with the new blocks. So if you would like to come by, I'll link my Twitch channel down below. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.